the silent debate tearing the Mars program apart. Behind every launch and headline, a quiet argument has been unfolding for decades. It is not about rockets or budgets. It is about purpose, and it threatens to split the future of Mars exploration in two. The division runs deeper than methodology. It concerns the very meaning of humanity's relationship with another world. To understand why this debate matters today, we have to look beneath public optimism. Mars has become a symbol powerful enough to unite ambition and fear at the same time. But symbols fracture when priorities diverge. And inside the Mars program, they have the unity projected outward masks tension festering within. On one side are those who see Mars as a scientific archive, a world preserved in time. Every layer of rock tells a story billions of years old. To them, Mars is fragile. Touching it too much risks erasing evidence that can never be replaced. Knowledge depends on restraint. On the other side are those who see Mars as a proving ground, a place humanity must learn to live if it wants a long future. For them, preservation without presence is a delay, not a solution. Mars must be used to teach survival. Progress demands action. At first, this disagreement was subtle. Differences in mission design, small shifts in priorities. But as plans moved closer to human arrival, the divide widened. Protection versus progress. Observation versus intervention. The stakes clarified as timelines shortened. Every rover, drill, and sample return sharpened the question. How much interference is acceptable? How much risk to knowledge can be justified by preparation? Mars stopped being a neutral target and became contested ground. Each mission became a proxy for the larger conflict. This debate does not play out in public. It happens in committees, research papers, and funding decisions. But its outcome will define what Mars becomes: a preserved warning or a transformed experiment. The choice cannot be postponed indefinitely. And once that choice is made, there will be no undoing it. As the debate intensified, each side gathered evidence to support its vision. Scientists pointed to the rarity of untouched planetary history. Mars is one of the few places where ancient processes remain preserved without tectonics or biology reshaping them. Once disturbed, that record is gone forever. The loss would be irreplaceable. Engineers countered with urgency. Knowledge without application, they argued, leaves humanity unprepared. Mars offers conditions no simulation can fully replicate. Radiation, isolation, reduced gravity. These challenges must be faced in reality, not theory. Delay carries its own costs. This clash reshaped mission planning. Some projects prioritize minimal contact, sterilized equipment, restricted landing zones. Others pushed for infrastructure testing, habitats, fuel production, long-duration systems. Each choice favored one philosophy over the other. Neutrality became impossible. Funding decisions became fault lines. A mission approved for preservation delayed progress toward settlement. A mission focused on preparation risked contaminating key sites. Mars could not satisfy both goals simultaneously. Resources forced choices that preference alone could avoid. The debate also exposed generational differences. Veteran researchers emphasized caution born from scarcity. Younger planners emphasized urgency shaped by looming global challenges. Both perspectives carried validity. Neither offered a perfect answer. The conflict transcended individual positions. What made the conflict sharper was time. Mars will not change quickly, but human pressures will. Climate stress, population growth, and technological momentum all push decisions forward. Waiting feels safer scientifically, but riskier strategically. The calculus differs depending on which timeline dominates. Mars became a mirror for how humanity handles disagreement under pressure. Do we preserve knowledge at all costs? Or do we act before knowledge feels complete? The planet reflects the question back without providing resolution. And as deadlines approached, compromise grew harder to sustain. The conflict reached its most difficult phase when the consequences of each path became unavoidable. Preserving Mars meant accepting limits on human presence. Using Mars meant accepting irreversible change. There was no middle ground that satisfied both. The binary nature of the choice intensified resistance on all sides. As plans for crewed missions advanced, preservation advocates warned of permanent loss. Human activity would introduce microbes, alter chemistry, and overwrite delicate signals of ancient life. Even careful protocols could not guarantee purity. Once humans arrived, Mars would never be the same again. The transformation would be irreversible. Supporters of settlement argued that delay carried its own risk. Without real-world testing, humanity would remain vulnerable. Lessons learned too late could not be applied when survival depended on them. Mars, they believed, was not a museum. It was a rehearsal. The opportunity cost of inaction exceeded the cost of action. This tension created paralysis. Each proposal triggered resistance. Each delay fueled frustration. Mars exploration slowed, not from lack of capability, but from unresolved purpose. The planet waited while the argument deepened. Progress stalled at the threshold. What made the conflict especially dangerous was its invisibility. Publicly, Mars appeared unified. Privately, trust eroded. Teams worked toward different futures under the same banner. Coordination weakened as priorities diverged. The surface unity concealed fundamental disagreement. Mars exposed a fundamental dilemma. Knowledge is fragile. Survival is urgent. Choosing one threatens the other. And avoiding the choice only postpones the cost. The dilemma does not resolve through avoidance. The debate was never really about Mars. It was about what humanity values when faced with irreversible decisions: preservation of truth or preparation for survival. Both values command respect. Both cannot be fully honored. And whichever path is chosen, something irreplaceable will be lost. The climax of the silent debate is the moment humanity must choose without certainty. Mars will not wait for consensus. Every year that passes narrows the range of possible futures. The window for decision contracts as capability expands. If Mars is preserved, it remains a pristine warning, a frozen record of planetary failure that can teach generations to come. But preservation accepts that some lessons will remain theoretical, untested by human experience. Knowledge without application remains incomplete. If Mars is used, it becomes something else entirely, a living experiment, a place where mistakes will permanently alter history, but where survival knowledge may be earned through risk. That knowledge would come at a cost that can never be reversed. The gains and losses intertwine permanently. The resolution is not clean. There is no outcome without loss. Mars forces humanity to confront a truth it often avoids. Progress and preservation are not always compatible. Sometimes choosing one means sacrificing the other. The trade-off cannot be wished away. Mars will reflect that choice forever, as an untouched archive, or as a transformed world bearing human fingerprints. Either way, the decision will echo far beyond space exploration. The implications extend to how humanity understands responsibility itself. The debate may be silent, but its consequences will not be. They will define how humanity handles irreversible power when no perfect option exists. The resolution of this debate will not come through compromise. It will come through decision. At some point, one path will be chosen and the other will close forever. That moment approaches faster than most participants acknowledge. The window for deliberation narrows as capability expands. What makes this debate ultimately important is not Mars itself, but what it reveals about human decision-making under uncertainty. The same tensions that divide the Mars program appear in countless other contexts. Mars simply makes them visible with unusual clarity. The lessons apply far beyond space exploration. Subscribe to join the journey. The